If you could take a trip into the past, what would you say to your former self? What would the person you are now, what would they say to that teenage self of you? That person that was struggling, that person that went through traumatic events, that person that really struggled to find their sense of self. Think about the challenges that you've faced in your life. Think about the obstacles you've overcome. What would you say to that person now? Through hindsight, through the wisdom you've gained, through the stronger person that you've become. Think about that today. Think about what would you say to them? And how does that apply to your life now? See, with me, I wouldn't even recognize the person that I used to be. I look at that person and I think they had a completely different set of ideology, beliefs, viewpoints on the world, hobbies, than who I am now. But somehow that person manifested over time to become who I am now. I wouldn't change anything about who I used to be, because I understand that in order for me to be who I am now and keep progressing along that path, that I had to go through those things in order to become who I am now. I had to go through the struggles with mental illness for years, the depression, the anxiety. I had to go through feeling lost and struggling to have any goals, struggling to just get up out of bed every morning. I had to struggle with alcohol and drugs and all those other things to become the person I am now. And I asked myself, if I didn't have to go through those things, would I be the same person today? I don't know that, but you've got to look at that wisdom and that process that you went through and understand, hey, does this have a purpose in the bigger picture I may not even understand? So if I could go back in time and give my advice to my former self, even though I wouldn't want to change anything, because I understand that the things that I went through have given me a skill, have given me a means to help people and help myself, that I wouldn't change that. But if I could give advice to someone like me who went through things like me, I would say, look, understand that in the end it's just going to come back to being yourself. You're going to try and put on a mask. You're going to try and go out and pretend to be something that you're not. You're going to try and pretend to be someone that you're not. And you're going to be very lonely in your own skin doing that. But hey, you're going to have to go through that to realize that all this time you just had to be the person you are inside, and the people that love you and accept you for that are going to gravitate towards you anyway. It's not about impressing the people that aren't like you. Let them impress people that are like them. And in high school and a school situation, there is that hierarchy, and you're trying to find your place in the world. You know, it's a very superficial world, and we don't understand that at the time. But it helps us appreciate the people that we can become. It helps appreciate, and finally you get that sense you can breathe again. You know, when you leave and you grow up and you become the person you know you could have, you get to breathe again, because you realize that the mask can drop, that you no longer have to be that person you were trying to be, that you can be yourself, and people will love you and accept you for that. Understand that when you're filling the voids in your life with alcohol and drugs and partying and things like that, that very often we write it off as a social thing. You know, I'm a teenager, I'm growing up, this is part of what I should be doing. And I thought that, I believed that, I thought this is part of who I am, this is part of what I should be doing, I should be experiencing these things all the time. And we'll look back now, and I realized that I was just filling the void in my life. That 9 to 5, Monday to Friday monotony that I was trying to escape, that was the void that I was filling. And I didn't have purpose, I didn't have those goals, I was struggling. But now I look back and I realize that for not having that purpose and having that 9 to 5, Monday to Friday job that was creating the void in my life, I look back now and I realize that's why I want freedom. That's why I've become a person with a message, and I will speak out and convey that to you. That's why I am this way now. So understand that that void, it's there to teach you a lesson. It's there to teach you that, hey, there's something missing in you, but it means that there's purpose that can come into your life to change everything. And it's about that change. Look at your life. Figure out What do I want to be doing with my life? Can I see myself in the same place in 5 years' time? Think about the way that you know you can bring change to the world and yourself. That's where I would be at now, looking back and saying to myself, understand that the voids in your life are going to be filled with something greater in time, but you're going to have to go through that to appreciate that thing that's going to come in. If you don't have the void to begin with, you're never going to appreciate the good stuff coming in. So understand that that pain, that void, the thing you're trying to fill, it's there to teach you a lesson about yourself, that you need to have positive things in your life, that you need to have a message, that you need to have a purpose. You need to have a direction in your life. The last thing I would say to my former self is understand that you aren't alone. There was years that I spent in my room just crying, feeling lost. Literally, every day I would just find something to be upset about, and I would just fester in my own struggle. I would just fester in my own pain. And at the time I didn't realize that other people understood. There were people older than me who had been through struggles and had got out the other side and were trying to help me. They were trying to convey a message to me that, hey, it's going to hurt, but you're going to make it through. You're going to learn from this, and you'll look back one day and you'll be like, thank you for that pain that I went through. Thank you for giving me this lesson. Thank you for teaching me this message so I can share with people. But at the time, I didn't see that. I just thought, I'm the only one who's going through this struggle. I'm the only one who's going through this pain. I'm the only one with depression, bipolar, anxiety, learning disabilities. I'm the only one who's struggling, who's crying. Why is no one else crying? Why is no one else struggling? I just didn't see those other people struggling. I was too busy immersed in my own world, locked away in my own room, festering in my own struggle, to think, hey, I need to get out and help people. And through that help, I might help myself. At the time, I couldn't even help myself, so I didn't know how to help people. But now I realize that that's taught me something. It's given me the power to help other people going through that pain. So it was so important to understand that I'm not alone, and that I'm not the only one who's going through this. I had to step away from that selfish, sort of egocentrical mindset and understand that I'm not the only one who's gone through this. And I won't be the last one who's gone through it either. There's going to be people after me who's going through this. Maybe you're going through this right now. And when I started to realize that, it diminished some of the pain that I was going through, because I thought, I'm not alone. But it took me a long time to get beyond that ego mindset, thinking that it's all about me. And when I started to listen to people and listen to their stories and realize that they had been through it and they had changed their lives, I started to realize that, hey, I'm seeing this person over here who was going through what I went through to begin with. What advice would I give myself to help them? So I started sharing that knowledge. And that's why I'm here now. That's why I'm talking to you now, is to help people and get this out of my system to help other people as well. See, when we have a message to share, we can take that pain and create a purpose with it. So remember, you're not the only one going through a struggle. It's important to step beyond that ego and realize that there are other people who understand, but you're going to have to reach out. You're going to have to talk to people. You're going to have to find purpose in your pain and share your message and help other people, because through that love and through that help, we really do heal ourselves. So those are the messages that I would say to myself. I wouldn't change a thing. I would be content with understanding that I'm going to go through these things, but it's going to make me the person I am now. And realize that's the same about you. You can take the struggles you're going through and you can find purpose in that pain if you choose that. You have to be bold enough to understand that there's a better way out, that you can make positive changes in your life. So post below 4 to 5 things that you would say to your former self, knowing that you cannot change the course of your history, but knowing that you can at least offer them peace and wisdom from you now. Would it be specific events that you would change? It would be an overall mindset. See, for me, it's a combination of both, but more so it's a mindset. It's a way we see the world. That's what keeps us stuck. The events are just a byproduct of that mindset. So share below.